Good morning, everybody. Shaky. Yeah, we'll take a look at EJ here in a second. No, actually, I'm going to pull it up right now. Let's take a look. Okay. I see where you're going with, yeah. Holly, good morning. Hardy, good morning. Getting the charts up. Taking a look for the first time. Actually, we have a few. I think we have actually a few that might be worthy to look at. Kanini, good morning. Hen, good morning. All right, ladies and gentlemen, wherever you are in the world, good morning, good afternoon, good evening. I hope you're doing well. All right, just a brief reminder. This is not financial advice. The information on this channel is provided for education, informational purposes only. Without any express or implied warranty of any kind, including warranties of accuracy, completeness, or fitness for any particular purpose, feel free to pause the stream, read this. Good stuff. John, good morning to you. Okay, starting on the NASDAQ as always. All right, Friday. I still have my notes up from yesterday, which is good because then we can kind of just, pick up from where we left off yesterday. We had day one, day two. Yesterday, Monday was day three. This cycle then resets. And we actually do have a pivot down here. And they've came and triggered the previous day's high yesterday. And they even broke out to the upside. Okay, so we had a breakout to the downside that has maybe potentially failed. And it's failed over the course of 2 days. They broke out, consolidated, broke back up to the upside. And this was actually a first green day coming off of the peak formation high from last Thursday. Okay. Now, this has also triggered previous week's levels. So we got a previous week's low after the market has been going higher for a significant amount of time. So that kind of, I'm not going to say shifts the thesis, but it does, it's something that I need to pay attention to. Okay, we have a previous week's low because, and I'm trying to put my little thinking cap on, if market's been going higher and then market made a lower low and then has pumped it back up, I need to be paying attention to that and thinking, okay, maybe this is a pump, basically a pullback after a lower low for the week. Maybe we can get a 3-day template out of that. But I'm not going to let that kind of cloud my judgment for the current day. We have a previous week's low. They've made a lower low, sure. But on the day, what has happened in the past 3 days? The most important thing, they broke out. We broke back up to the upside. Okay. So I'm going to project that level across, and I'm going to look at the current day and say, based off of today, and based off what has happened, what could I be looking for? We had a high, to a low, to a high, to a higher low, to a higher high, to a lower low, and then they've gone back to the high of the day and made a higher high. So I'm walking through the process, just looking at the structure and seeing what has already happened. We have a high in place. They pulled back, so we've got a high in place. We have a low in place. And now we're sitting in the middle, which gives me all the thesis that I need. Now, I was actually talking to somebody yesterday about this. Whenever I have a previous day's high and that's my most relevant and important level, which it is because we have broken out of it right now. So the top of the box becomes the bottom of my box. And we have multiple attempts to go higher, and it's not going any higher, and we're kind of just consolidating around this level. I do need to pay attention and be careful. We might just see consolidation, in this area. So we'll see. But I have at least all the important and relevant details up here that I'm going to need. Any questions on the NASDAQ? No? Yes? Cool. Let's go. US 30. Okay, we had 4 days of breakouts. Leading into breakout day 1 now in the other direction. Similar to the NASDAQ, also first green day. So this is another relevant pair that I should be watching. And this has triggered previous day's high, but has not broken out and gone higher. So, similar to the NASDAQ, if I'm going to trade the first green day, I would need to be looking for something to make higher highs and higher lows. This is broken down and made a lower low. Does not mean, because we also have came back up and made the higher high. It does not mean that it's going to go up or go down. It's just a relevant detail to keep me out of the nonsense. Okay, now on this, we've gone a little bit higher over here, and it looks like we've even come back down again and made a lower low. So maybe showing a little bit of weakness, showing a little bit of hesitation to go higher. It almost kind of looks like maybe it's breaking down. So again, if we're looking at is the breakout going to succeed or is it going to fail, I need to pay attention. Maybe this is a pump for a dump instead of a first green day trade, which is what I'm really trying to say. Okay, gold. 15-minute chart. Had breakout day 1 from Friday. Breakout day 2 from Monday. So we're in breakout going higher. That's the most important thing. We do not have breakout day 3 or third day of longs triggered into the market yet. It looks like we have just dumped down from the open. Looking at a 5, the way they've come through here. Boom, boom, boom. Okay. Where's my swings at? Because this is the low down here. It looks like yesterday they had made a high and a low, and then they came down and broke it, but I don't really think I have a good, valid, decent setup on this. Unless they come up and trigger this level today. That would be breakout day 3. They go back to the high. We'll see. In fact, I'm going to put this up here. Good. Tyrone, good morning. From America. Let's see. All right, the Russell yesterday looks like our short squeeze thesis was kind of correct, and it just kept on going. Cool. Broke out yesterday, day 1. Pretty much the same as all of these other indexes. A little bit of back and forth again. We've gone back to the high. They failed to go higher on the breakout. Z, good morning. And we pulled back. So again, the top of the box becoming the bottom of the box. But they've kind of gone and hit that same spot over and over and over again. Could be interesting. Could just be a consolidated day. I don't know. We have our levels in place, so that's good. Oil. Okay, oil is interesting. We've got breakout day 1, breakout day 2. We've triggered the low. We're into breakout day 3, which means that we could just be going lower. So I could be looking for a trend opportunity, but I could also be looking for breakout day 3 or third day of longs being triggered into the market. So I'm going to put my little... Uh-oh. Cameron, what are you doing? I'm going to put my little line on here. Looks like we got this, and then we got a little bit of this. Okay, so we're still breaking down. We're still making lower lows and lower highs. Lower low, lower high. Oh my gosh, what am I doing? There we go. Get the lower high. We got 4 minutes to the New York Open. From this, and in looking at this, I think the indexes are all fine. I can look at all of these for either a trend or a reversal setup. Either this is a pump up for the dump back down. It's also Tuesday, so maybe looking to expand the range of Monday. Gold, honestly, I don't really know. So I'm going to wait for this to go back to the high of the previous day, trigger a level, and then I'll be a little bit more comfortable, actually executing anything on this. Russell, same thing. Oil, trend trade or reversal trade. This is looking, if this closes like this, if we get a higher high, we get a breakout. I don't know. But we've got 3 days of shorts in the market. Have we triggered a previous week's level? That's really important too. Yes, today, actually. All right, we got 2 minutes to the open. Shaky was saying something about, was it this, EJ? Yeah, EJ. We had a first red day on Friday. Looks like first green actually on Thursday. Immediately broke out, and then first red day on Friday. So maybe the breakouts failed day 1, day 2. Day 3 closed in breakout down, but did not close in breakout, outside of a previous week's level. Previous week's level has not been triggered either. Triggered the previous day's low, consolidated, broke out. So as far as like actual signals go, maybe a 3-day setup starting from the high of the week. Day 1, day 2. Maybe we're into day 3 going back for the high. I'd almost have to say, Shaky, I would want to wait for like a first green day. Like if this closed kind of similar like this, that'd be nice. But it also does look like on the day, like maybe it's set up for a squeeze. But that's a whole lot of it looks like. I don't really have a good solid signal. But the chart itself looks very clean. All right, we're going to... Nice. Jake, are you looking for the long or the short? You're looking for the squeeze higher, right? Yeah, that's what it looked like to me as well. But again, could be wrong. Okay, really strong drive off the open. Back down to the low of the day. We got 3 peaks and the lower low. Well, how's everybody doing? It's pretty quiet out there this morning. I gotta tell you, be real honest with you. I'm feeling a little tired. That's not me complaining. That's really just me saying, wake up. I need to wake up. In fact, you know what? 9:31. I'm not taking a trade in the first 5. This is going to take 30 seconds. I'm sprinting. I'm getting a drink. Be right back. All right. Did anybody time me? Was it fast? All right. Let's keep watching this thing. Yeah, we do have news at 10 o'clock. What happened, Shaky? Did it break down? No. It does seem like maybe it's failing to get up there. But I will say, you know, if I was watching this and I was in something, I would be watching. I'd be watching these lows here, the way that it's making higher lows with the bars. Basically not allowing the shorts out of their positions. I just wouldn't want to see them close any lower than that. Tony, that's a really good question. Give me 4 seconds. Maybe not exactly 4. Okay, we're about to enter the next 5-minute bar. If you look at NQ on a 1-minute chart, they slammed some bars down there. And then they just didn't go any lower on that second bar. Look at that. See how this bar went down and then this one came back down and it just didn't go any lower than this one? Not to say that it can't, but it is interesting. 20 daily below on NQ. All right, Tony, I'm going to answer your question. What got me into trading? My wife's now wife, at the time girlfriend, brother-in-law, now my brother-in-law. He trades, and he got me into it. Also, my mom has been trading since before I was born. So I've seen her trade, growing up. And then my brother-in-law, he's the one that really got me into it. What was my career? I was in the military. I was a mechanic, and I actually had a few jobs. I was a mechanic for a brief time, and then I was a information operations specialist, and then I was a drill instructor. Really enjoyed it. I loved being in the military, but when I found, he showed me trading, and I was like, oh my gosh, I'm very passionate about this. I have to pursue this. So I did, and here we are. And do I wish I would have got into it sooner? I think everything happens for a reason. I think I was put in certain places just at the right time. So I think that the plan is working out just the way that it should. And how am I doing? I'm doing really good. I think I'm in a place in life where, really happy. Yeah. All right, first 5. We came down, and then immediately on the next 5-minute bar, look what is happening. Very interesting. 41 seconds left on this 5-minute bar. Yeah, everything, that's exactly shaky. So what you just said is beautifully worded, because this is exactly why I don't use one pair or one instrument or the other to try and help me determine what other things are going to do, because you will send yourself into a frenzy of like, oh my gosh, what am I doing? What am I looking for? That's the question that becomes clouded. What am I looking for? What am I waiting for? Okay, this bar did not break out of the previous bar. It only went back up and closed pretty much on the inside of the previous bar's range, which means I'm in consolidation. I don't want to enter in consolidation. Oh, I also have news in 20 minutes, so I have to be very careful about taking weird entries. What is gold doing? Just what a weird time of day to decide I'm just going to do a V-bottom reversal and just go vertical all without putting any down closed bars in. Okay. Yeah. Okay, so this bar closing on the inside of this bar is high and low, telling me we're in consolidation. US 30 going back to the high of the previous day, and also going up towards high of day. 930, 935. Both bars similar in size and fairly large. maybe even larger than the last few days. Ooh, maybe not. I would say if this was an above average opening, I would, and there wasn't news, I would probably be looking to go long. And I would be doing that looking for the expansion trade of Monday's range and also first green day. Yes, but also no, because this is so discretionary light. It is very discretionary, right? So most of, as far as like back testing goes, I can go back and I can look and see, what characteristics of when the setup was building made it better or made it worse or made it more clean or made it more tradable. Like I can look at those types of things, so that way it helps me in lifetime performance. Yeah, shaky, and it exactly right. It could just come back right back down. But anyways, gosh, I just lost my train of thought. Oh, the one, but I do have the setups that I actually enjoy more, and the breakout day ones or like first red days where they trigger a level and pop back up a little bit, or break out and then pop back up a little bit. Those are really becoming my favorite by a lot. I wouldn't even, if you want to stop confusing it, Fahim, peak formation is just a higher high or a lower low. But in the context of BTMM, typically, whenever breakouts fail, price goes towards the other side of a range. So BTMM, George Douglas Taylor, Toby Crape, like they all talk about the same stuff, kind of. Whenever a breakout fails, usually the market or price will trade away and rally away from that level. So if you have a failed breakout high, a lot of times you're going back for the low. If you have a failed breakout at the low, a lot of times you're going to go back for the high. So if you have, it'll look like something like this. Okay, maybe that's your first green day, something along those lines. So breakout that has failed, you get a peak formation low, and then they go back for previous day's high. Now, whether or not the previous day's high breakout succeeds or fails, don't know. But that's the idea. You get a peak formation low, failed breakout. On the next day, you're looking for a rally away from that low. But sometimes, on the day, things like that. Maybe they had a breakout day one yesterday. They trigger the low today and pop it back up a little bit. And then you get one of these. Is PMI considered major red? Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yep. We got 45 or 15 minutes. Okay, we still have not closed any higher than this bar's high. So if they just pop up, go vertical back towards the high, I have missed. And that's fine. Light within. I'm gonna have to show you an example. And it's because the market does it so frequently, and just because it's so reliable. Whenever it does certain things, and then it triggers certain levels at a certain time of day, and the market is in the correct structure. It's just extremely reliable for the day. And usually the move is very quick and fast, and that's why I like them. I'll have to show you an example. All right, wait until after the news. Let me see if I can find one. And by let me see if I can find one, let me just go to one, because I know that gold last week, y'all watched me trade those. This one. Okay, so trend trades, right? Light. We had breakout, our first red day on Wednesday. Breakout day 1 on Thursday. Breakout day 2 on Friday. Triggers the low. In a trend, we've triggered the low, we've made the lower low, and it popped back up and goes back into consolidation. Breaks down. New York open, goes vertical. That's it. That's all there is to it. Breakout, telling me trend go down. Market go down. Market go lower. Trigger the low, telling me, hey, the market's still willing to make lower lows. Pop back up, went into consolidation. On the day, making a lower low, telling me market might want to continue to go lower. Timing, 9:30, that's my time. Price action, perfect. Entry, perfect. Fast move. That's how it should be. And these show up a lot. They show up a lot. It showed up right here. For example, it doesn't matter what session. It just matters that the characteristics or the aspects of the trade have presented, right? So the same exact setup was right here. It didn't present as well, didn't go as far, probably because this was like kind of the first day or whatever, but this was a bit of a 3 session. All right, breaks down, lower low, pops back up. So this was the triggering of the low here. And then over here you have another triggering of the low, which could have set us up for maybe London or something like that. And then it kind of pulls a little bit lower. It just didn't, present as well. And you can get these in both directions. Yeah, so when I see those, I like those a lot. They make me happy. Oh, the wrong thing. There we go. Carlo, hello. Good morning. Hmm. 10 minutes of the news. We are sitting here and watching paint dry together. As we watch the paint dry and the grass grow, watching some bars bob up and down in consolidation. If you all wouldn't mind just hitting the little like button, it helps a lot. Thank you. So the argument could be made that yes, things are moving a lot up and down, but we're definitely consolidating. We are in a box, and Carlo, what'd you trade? Good stuff. Cool. It's a good little scalp. I don't know if you were in here before, Carlo, but I was watching this over here. I was talking about how it came down off the big opening drive, and then the second attempt to go lower was a higher low. So it was definitely pretty decent. I really wish that, because I think I would have been right there with you, Carlo, and I was planning to, I was watching it. If this bar would have closed outside this bar's range higher, I would have looked to enter on the next bar. Because that's a pretty strong reaction down and then right back up. And that would be in line with the first green day. That would be in line with Tuesday typically expands the range. So that would have made a lot of sense. Seeing a little bit of whipsaw. So it looks like maybe we've made this lower low here. And maybe even a second, or this is the lower low here. And they've tried to go back up, tried to go back down, tried to go back up again. So we are really sitting in consolidation. And I think Shaky, you said you think that the breakout's going to fail, right? You think that breakout day one, you think this consolidation we're going to fail and we're going to go lower? Is that the thesis? Hey, I really appreciate that. For the one that just said you are good at explaining. 1 minute looks like a W. Yeah, it is. Playing the range, you think it's a ranging day? Okay. It's certainly not a breakout day. I mean, it's in breakout from yesterday up, but as far as like today's actual price action, we're definitely just sitting in the range. Huh. That is interesting. We got the lower low here. And I mean, this does display a lot of strength. The fact that we've gone all these bars without, and then we got this little ramp. And they pop back up, down, up, engulfment. Are we at the high of the day? Not quite. Pretty close though. Minimum, I give it like 2 or 3 minutes. Mustang. But 7 to 15 minutes after the news. 7 minutes because you're halfway through a 15-minute bar. So you'll tend to see the real move taking place. Four minutes. And it is a very light news schedule. And all of you that are in here right now, I'm sure you were probably with me a few weeks back where it was also, maybe it was last week. Was it last week that we had another? No, it wasn't last week, because last week was non-farm and FOMC. The week before that, so it was 2 weeks ago. We had a very, very light news week, and it ended up being really good. But at the beginning of that week, when I noticed that it was a light news week, I had said that a lot of times those news weeks, or the light news weeks, the moves can be very difficult to trade. They're a little bit back and forth, kind of consolidated. So a lot of times you'll see like narrow range weeks, things like that. Basically where they've opened the week and just kind of consolidated around the open, up and down, oscillating back and forth. And I was wrong that week. That week it wasn't bad. It was pretty good. But maybe this week will be the one. Light news week, maybe we see it oscillating kind of back and forth. So Monday we're still oscillating around this week's open, even on gold where it looks like it's going really far. Okay, NASDAQ not as much. We've kind of pumped up off the open. Indexes as well. I mean, for a weekly bar, I guess that's really not that much. We'll see. All right, we got 2 minutes of the news. All right, this is a major red news or whatever, but doesn't typically move the market too much, so I'm not expecting a huge reaction. But sometimes I say that and then it does something crazy, so we'll see. That's why I don't trade news, because it's so unpredictable. Yep. Well, cool. Yeah, we're gonna let this wind down. That's a lot of volatility off of PPI. Look at that gap down. Gap down so hard that we got an up close bar that's the wrong color. It doesn't know what it's doing. For now, Tony. You never know. This news is pretty volatile. But I do hope that it continues. Whatever way you're in, Tony, I hope it continues. Everything seems to be coiling. I have to agree. And it's coiling in a direction, right? Sometimes you have sideways coils. This seems to be coiling kind of in a channel, a downwards channel. Either that, and I'm not going to sit here and speculate, is it a bull flag or is this a, whatever. I don't care about that stuff as much. I think the patterns in hindsight are interesting. And I think that on a, for entries and things, those are important. But for the overall scope of things, I'm not going to sit here and speculate. But it does definitely look like it's coiling. Nikolai, hello. Good morning to you. All right, 10:02. So we're a couple minutes after the news now. Really want to see a 5-minute bar close in a direction. Something that tells me, hey, this is. I'm kind of looking at this, and this would actually be. I would have to take this as a trend trade. Maybe we a breakout. What has happened to my? Hold on. First red, breakout day 1, breakout day 2, triggered the low, breakout day 3, no higher high. But we're making lower lows. Yeah, Ekman, I think that oil's not looking bad. I still like to wait. One thing that I will say that I don't care for is the way that it is kind of getting a little close. So the distance between swings and the pullback, if it would have consolidated a bit more before going lower, that'd have been great. I've talked about this a lot. I don't like it when you see things curl. And sometimes the curl's good. It'll curl and it'll go vertical. I can take my trade and get out. PMI shouldn't move the market like this. It's all nonsense, right? It's all garbage. It's all made up. It's fake, in my opinion. That's a strong opinion, but it's a very strong opinion. But it's all nonsense. It's all garbage. And it'll use it as an excuse. It depends on the day of the week. They say, oh, well, PMI did this. And the economists come out, all the unnamed economists that you never know who is who. And they're just like, oh, yeah, the market, PMI, well, it was better than expected, but it wasn't quite as much as we expect. I don't know. They say some funny things. That's why I just let it do its thing and then wait for the setups. I could sit here and speculate all day long. I'm in S&P short. Cool. I'm hoping that this bar makes a lower low. I hope that this starts allowing shorts to make money. And then I just might join you, Ernest. Maybe. I'm looking at the 1-minute price action on the NASDAQ, and it's Again, I really just want to see them start letting this guy out. I'll feel really good about it if this just let this guy out. Let him make money. This big huge down closed bar over here on NASDAQ. Some poor soul traded this. Someone short this. Someone short that. And they're sitting here thinking, thank God it's coming back down. I'm going to get out of this thing. I might be able to get to break even. I might even be able to make money. Carlo, it's been all of us, okay? It's been all of us. But I just want to see it seems a little reluctant to allow shorts to make money. That's why I'm kind of holding on. I'm just being very patient. At least I'm trying to be. And what would the other side of the trade look like? What if they break out of the high of the day? Like what if this bar, we got a higher low here. What if this bar just went vertical and closed in breakout here? Well, on a 1 minute chart, that would be kind of a higher high. Maybe 3 legs down. Got this big bar here, catches my attention. This bar, maybe it makes me take action. Look how big this bar is in relationship to all of these. And then the biggest bar in the entire chart, I get caught. The next one reverses off the low. Now we're sitting in consolidation, but we've got this, maybe. I would say that's probably the other side of the trade. Or, like Shaky and I were talking about earlier, and actually I think I said this at the beginning of the stream, we might just be oscillating today all day long. And I really should stay out of that. No thanks. Not going to get me. Bet you 50 cents it doesn't. Shaky, do you think you're talking about oscillation? Do you think it's not going to just oscillate back and forth? Do you think it's going to break out today? We will see. Here we go. Let's do this. Let's have a little bit of fun since we're sitting here just staring at it. Ooh, what is gold doing? Where's my little thing here? Yeah, we're going to click this. We're going to click this. Why is it being weird? Let's see what you all think. I'm curious. Well, I'm certainly not a betting man. Okay, so we have a big down closed bar. Breaking down, potentially. Maybe we've gone sideways for a bar. I'm telling you, I want to see this guy make money. Let him out. Just let him out. Let him out. And I will take this as lower low, lower high, or a higher high that fails. We got a lower low now. They popped it back up, 1, 2, 3. Engulfment. Every time the market breaks out or breaks down, it goes sideways. We let him out. I'm going to look to enter. If we don't let him out, I will not look to enter. Free him. Yeah. Oh, they didn't let him. The spread didn't let him out. Did you see how it spread? They got down there. The spread opened up. Oh my gosh, this poor guy. I know for a fact, out of everybody on earth, there's at least somebody who's holding on to this thing, and he's sitting there, biting his fingernails and scratching his forehead. Like, why me? And I've been there. It gets down to where my tier entry, and it's just bobbing around, and then the spread opens up, and you're just like, come on. They're just doing everything they can to hold you in there. Okay. Oh, they just closed it. They closed it up above that bar's. Yep. So big down closed bar P1, maybe P2 off the pause here. We got push and a push. Still not going any lower. We're at the low of the day. Just can't seem to get down there. Can't seem to let people out. Watch this pen. Look at this. They pinned up. They pinned down. They're at the low of that pen. You got to be careful. there's a little bit of rattery going on, if you know what I mean. They're playing the range. I don't want to be a part of the range. I used to only trade mainly forex, Moses. Since switching over to futures, I've been focusing mainly on indexes and gold and oil, and that's really just because a lot of times they're just, if you look at this, look, I mean it's very clunky. It's not very fluent looking. Not to say that there aren't good trades in there, and it can be done. But why would I take a trade and try and hold it for 25 pips or whatever when I can get 25 pips in 30 seconds on an index? Not even 30. I would say like 10, 5, 1, sometimes 1 second. And it is about the setup. It's all about the setup. So I just look for setups on things that move a little bit more. All right, we got this low in place. Pop back up, slammed it back down. We're back down at the low. We've allowed the shorts to start making a little bit of money, but not a lot. Would like to see them close lower. It is right there sitting at the low, right at its potential for reversal, and just hanging out there without following through. It's making me a little nervous. You know what I mean? Really need it to follow through just a little bit, Just a little. Just give me a little follow through. Just a good little capitulation move. A nice little solid push down. All right, I'm looking at risk free on this bad boy. Yeah, we close those. All right. Well, that's unfortunate. That is very unfortunate. Minute 38 left on this bar. 35 seconds. We got 42 seconds left on the bar. Might be a breakout. Maybe. Not seeing any passion. Jay Mills. Oh my gosh. What am I doing? You're right. Sorry, I'm focused a little bit. The passion's there though. It's always there. You're right though. Passion does breed passion. I gotta step it up. All right. Ladies and gentlemen of the PT. Oh my gosh, I almost just called myself something completely different. Ladies and gentlemen of the Pips to Profit community. All 68 of you sitting in here with me, right meow. I just passed the challenge. This is actually my second one that I've passed. Cool. Let's see here. There we go. Not bad. So I could sit here and talk about that for a second. These challenges are really good. I'm a fan of Top Step. I'm not associated or affiliated with Top Step. I think they're a pretty good company. And I like them a lot. I really like their platform. Again, I'm not an affiliate or anything like that. I just, I do enjoy their platform. So I like trading my own account, but I also really like using their firm. But I will talk about the ins and outs just for a brief second. They advertise, all prop firms, right? It's not just them. They advertise a 50K, 100K, a 150, whatever it is. The size of account that you're truly trading is your drawdown limit. Okay. I just really want to advocate for that at least. So on a 50K account, you're allowed to lose $2,000. So you're trading a $2,000 account. Okay. And I think that a huge problem that people run into is just exactly what I just said. They don't really realize that they're risking too much. So for the challenge portion of the account, I will use minis. I still trade with minis on my personal. On this, I will use a mini. But I understand that I'm risking too much on a 50K account using a mini. That's too much. But I just want to pass, right? I don't want to sit around for months on micros using good risk management to pass, because I know that I can do it with a mini. I just make sure that the trades that I take are really solid for these. Good. This is Top Step. I like Top Step. But anyways, I just wanted to share that with you all. Let's go take a look at NASDAQ. Why did I trade this? I talked to you all through it as I was looking to get in. Okay. We had the lower low. We had a first green day, yes. But we're in a down moving market. And we triggered previous week's low after many weeks of going higher. Okay. We get the lower low. They get the retest of the high. The higher high that then fails and actually comes down and makes the lower low again here at 9:30. We had news at 10. Pops back up. Gives us our engulfment. Or maybe not necessarily an engulfment pattern, but a breakout pattern to the low. And I was sitting here, I was making jokes about it, but it is a very serious way of looking at it and thinking about how this guy is trapped. And this bar didn't even let that guy out. But once it breaks down and this bar started to allow that guy to get out, that's when I got in. Okay. Okay. Yeah. It was quick. In and out. Looks good. It might reverse. Yeah, it really might. And that's another thing that I was talking about with these. When it curls like this and it slams back down, if this were to do something like this, they could still be playing the range. Maybe. But I think my trade was solid. Was well thought out. Executed exactly as I was talking it through. Even from the beginning of the stream. Or maybe these are a little, I took NASDAQ. I just took the NASDAQ, Jay. I took the short up from over here. I think it was like 20 points. About 20 points. Okay. And I really just took it because I was right at the brink of passing that challenge. That's why I got out. There's no reason for me to hold on to it because I was going to pass. You scalper, you. Yeah. I mean, 20 points. I think any trader should be happy about 20 points. I think most people go for like, what, 5 to 10? That's a good scalp, like 5 to 10 points. 20 points is, how many ticks is that? Oh, that was actually, hold on. That was 20 pips. This is about 20 points right here. So it's about the same. It's 83 ticks. $83 ticks is, I mean, that's decent. Think about how long almost 100 ticks would take on, you know, like a Forex pair. It'd take a while. Great trend line. Yeah. I think it worked out pretty good. Just good. Heck yeah, Ernest. That's what I like to hear. That's what's up. Yeah, US 30 kind of scared me today, Jay, with this little pin up, pin down. This weird little gap that they did. They seemed end of day consolidation. Oh, I see what you're saying. Yeah. Yeah, they're working it. In fact, I think I normally draw the EODC on the. Oh no, that's actually accurate. That's good. So this could be pretty interesting. If we have a market that has Monday, Tuesday, we trigger previous week's low, they pop it back up, fail to go higher. If we get a first red day today on NASDAQ, you'll probably already know what I'll be looking at tomorrow. Previous week's low triggered, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, A plus B equals C. And this is all big ifs, right? I don't know if that's going to happen, but we got the ramp. We got a day that opened, attempted to go higher. If it were to fail today, I will absolutely be looking for first red day tomorrow. Yes, Mustang, absolutely. So here we go. 62 in here right now. You'll get the benefit. Okay. The market is fractal. The market is always doing the exact same thing on a monthly chart as it is on a weekly, as it is on a daily, on a 4 hour, 1 hour, 15, 5, 1, 30 second, 15 second, 5 second, 1 second. It doesn't matter. It's all the same behavior. Just everything happening on a higher time frame is happening far more frequently down low on a lower time frame. Okay. But regardless of all of that, when a candle opens, if you just very basic candle anatomy, you have an open, you have a high, you have a low, and then you have a close. Okay? And that builds the anatomy of a candle. It doesn't matter if I drew a candle, you say, okay, well, what time frame is that? Okay. But in reality, this creates a range. It creates a range, all right? It creates a high, it creates a low, and the market only can do three things: break out of that range, stay inside of that range, or break out of the range and fail and possibly go back towards the other side. Okay. This is where all the setups come from. Every trading setup from the time that computers were invented, or even before then when people were trading with newspapers or in bucket shop, whatever they were called, right, back in the 30s. It's all been the same. It's been doing the same thing forever, and it always will, because we human beings are not collectively all of a sudden going to wake up one day and go, I'm not going to buy or sell, or, you know, when a candle is really big, I'm not going to buy or sell. That's just not going to happen. People are always good. Our psychology as a group is not going to change. All right. So, whenever you have a breakout, whenever you have a market that attempts to go in a direction. So let's say that we've been going up, and every time we go up, I'm gonna call this, you know, an up close bar, an up close bar, and an up close bar. So maybe this is a previous high and low, right? So I'm going to draw this as a previous low. Whenever a candle, any candle on any chart, attempts to go up in a market that is going down, they attempt to go up, they will go back to the other side or go back in some form of retest. Now, will that retest succeed and then we go higher, or will that retest break and continue to go lower, which is the direction the market was already going? So, for example, I always make caveman jokes. I think Paulie's probably still in here, maybe. Maybe he left already. Market go up. Market try to go lower. Market go back for retest, okay? It's always going to go back for some form of retest. But this could be the starting, the beginning of a setup. Market go up, market try to go lower, market goes back to high, market fails. Maybe we get maybe this was a first red day, or maybe there was a first red day over here, right? So it could be a part of the template. And Mustang, you might be like, well, Cameron, I didn't ask you about that. I asked you about entries. Do you always wait for an entry or for a pullback? It's all the same. It's all the same. So whenever I look to get in and I see, hey, there's an engulfment. So they've basically gone higher now, right? They're going to go back and try and go lower again. In most cases, pretty much every single time. Whether that be a wick retest, whether that be a previous bar's low retest, and how that price action looks, it differs, but they go back for a retest. And that's what I'm trying to read. That's what I'm trying to gauge. Looking at the behavior of other people and thinking, where are people caught? Where's my confirmation? Right? And I hope that helps. Structural breaks, Carlo. It's structural breaks. I don't look for it anytime there's a structural break, or so for example here, right? We've got a higher high, which would have confirmed this as a higher low, and then they make the lower low. So on a larger scale, they go back to the high for a retest. That's larger scale. That's a bigger scale of like, okay, we've made the lower low. Let's see how it behaves when they go back to the high. They try to go higher. It immediately fails. Big scale again. We're talking big scale. We're talking multiple bars. We got a lower low here. They go back up 1, 2, 3 for a retest, and it fails. But there's also on a smaller scale, which would be, I'm just looking at the bars. We've got bars, highs, and lows. We got a breakout down over here. Movement, in a breakout, we've made the lower low, we've made the lower highs. They start to break down and break out to the downside. That's movement. We're moving in that direction, and it is confirming in that direction. Consolidation would be pretty much all of this. They're building for the next move down. They're building for the next box down, the next leg down. So you can take this box. We might be looking at an expansion of the range. Okay. That's it. And to some, that might seem very complicated. You're like, oh my gosh, the market's fractal. I've got to look at all these different time. No. It's not about that. I explained the market is fractal just to help better understand price action and where the setups actually come from. The bigger setups, the 3-day opportunities, because it explains them really well. and what to look for. It helps with what to look for. But it's not meant to be some big complicated thing. It's not, we're not out here learning trigonometry or something like that. All right. Ladies and gentlemen, it's been a fantastic day. It's been a fantastic trading session, and it's been a pleasure. I will see you all tomorrow, 9:15, ready to trade, looking for 3-day setups on a Wednesday. Light news week, but a good week it looks like. It looks like the wait was worth it today for sure. All right. I'll see you all tomorrow. Bye-bye.